Welcome to be Continued. We're your host. I'm Christian.
I'm Caleb.
And I'm Riley.
And it's conference championship weekend. Riley, congratulations. You jinxed your team correctly. Got them in.
Yes, sir.
You're still at 500. What are you, 6
I'm 6-6, I think.
Yep, me and Caleb are still undefeated at 10-0. Oh, no, you're 5-5.
Yeah, I'm still okay being 500 now that the Eagles are in conference.
I'll say you're more 5-4 because I think we all know you probably meant Eagles too.
I mean, yeah, but I didn't pick right, so I'll take the 5-5.
It's funny how we literally haven't gotten a single one wrong, and he's gotten half of them wrong.
Yeah.
At least I'm not negative though.
In his defense, I think he was just trying to be different than us. I'm not sure he was trying to.
He picked first.
Oh, that is true.
Every time he picked
I have
first.
always picked first, but
Never mind.
I also
I can't use that excuse. Never mind.
I have picked first, but I also when I look at it, I guess I look at it differently, and then looking at it differently doesn't really help me much. So
He wants to pick the wild upset.
Sometimes the stats are just so obvious, you just got to go with the stats.
yeah, but
I just go with my eyes. I don't waste all my life looking at stats.
10 minutes, so it takes. All right, here we go. Let's start off with the first game, 3:30 Sunday, Niners at Eagles. Riley, you're the resident Eagles fan, so we'll let you go.
I look okay. You said you give it last week. I'll give you that. You said that Niners and Cowboys was going to be close, and I'll give you that. It was pretty close, but I don't think the Niners played to the full potential that they could. Christian McCaffrey didn't really show up much. Elijah Mitchell was the number one running back with only 51 yards, and Christian McCaffrey had a touchdown, sure, but he didn't really do much. He had 35 yards. Brock Purdy has played amazing. I mean, I think since he started, he has 15 touchdowns and only a couple interceptions with 112 passing rating. But I don't know how he's going to hold up against one of the best defensive lines in the league who have a constant rotation. There's never the same guy running at you at the same time, so it's unpredictable where they're coming from.
He was getting pressured pretty much a lot in that Niners game.
Well, yeah, because, I mean, the Cowboys have a good defensive line.
Second best in the league.
Exactly.
Second best pressure rate.
Yeah, but I don't when it comes down to it, you break it down, the only weakness, the only thing that's different between the Niners and Eagles is the defenses. The Eagles have a lesser defense. The Niners' defense is way better than the Eagles, I think.
Niners have a better D coordinator. Eagles have more talent.
I mean, the defensive line is better than the Niners, I believe. But the secondary is definitely not.
No. The Eagles have a better collective group of pass rushers.
Remember, the Eagles just shut down the man that Christian thinks is the second coming of Peyton Manning. So,
that's true. That's true.
I'm just saying, the Eagles have a better collection of talent. Who would you rather take? Ready? The Eagles have a 7 deep pass rush. Am I wrong? Reddick. You have Graham. You have Cox, Davis, Hargrave.
I think the difference is the high-end players. Bosa is better than anyone on the Eagles.
Agreed.
Defense.
Now, that's what I was going to say. The Niners have more top-end.
Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw are both better than anybody the Eagles have in the linebacker.
Fred Warner's the best linebacker in the league. Has been for a couple years.
Yeah, and he's also he's just a nicer version of Vontaze Burfict because he's a cheap shot artist.
Oh my god,
he absolutely is.
But I also think that the Niners have the best run defense in the league. I mean that's a given. But the problem with the Eagles is you never know where the run's coming from. Jalen Hurts can run it, Gainwell can run it, Sanders can run it, Boston Scott can run it, or they can run an RPO and pass it down the field to A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith. You never know where it's going, and that's what I think the Eagles have on the Niners defense. Is the Niners defense is overall better than the Eagles offense, but it's unpredictable.
The thing I'll say with the Niners that is actually really impressive, when you go back and look at their film, I've never seen this. Somehow they double team every single player on the field, and they always have 8 in the box. It's mind-boggling.
They have really good safeties.
If D'Amico Ryan isn't hired as a head coach, something's wrong. That defense is incredible to watch.
Unless he just doesn't want one of these jobs.
Well, he wants the Texans job. That's the job he wants the most.
I saw that Sean Payton is likely to not take one of these jobs.
Yeah.
So if Sean Payton does not want any of these 5 jobs,
that should tell you something.
That tells you about what these jobs look like.
If I'm Sean Payton, I'm waiting another year anyway. Well, I mean, what's the job that's ooh, I want that one? The Chargers job would have been that, but he didn't. Yeah,
what's kind of unfortunate for him is that no matter where he goes, his team's going to have to give a first-round pick to get him.
If he waits 2 years, they won't.
Really? Even if...
Yeah, because his contract will be up. His contract runs through 2024.
So it still tolls even if he's not coaching?
Yes. Because he's still getting paid for not even being there.
But he retired,
He
right?
retired. Then
so why does he still get paid?
Because of the contract. It's weird how the NFL works.
I mean, that makes sense. If you sign a contract for 4 years, you retire 1 year in. They have to pay the rest of it to you.
Yeah, but I would have thought it would be like you get paid for the 1 year that you coached.
He doesn't get paid as much.
And then those 3 years are sitting there for whenever you come back. That's what I would have thought it would be.
That's what the players. With under the coaching, there's some he walked away. He didn't retire. He just walked away. So like he was fired without being fired. Like he's still under
Well,
contract.
that's basically like he quit then.
He quit. Yes.
So then you definitely shouldn't get paid. You walk off the job, you don't get paid.
It's weird how it works.
But
yeah. Anyway,
either way,
but yeah, he doesn't want the job. D'Amico Ryans. If he's not a head coach, it's because he doesn't want to be.
Yeah.
Or it better be.
I think this game will be the closest game of the entire playoffs. I think this game, somebody's winning by 1 field goal, and I think the Eagles have the better field goal kicker. So I think the Eagles
Gold hasn't missed in forever.
Yeah.
But Jake Elliott is.
Robbie Gould's never missed a
stud.
postseason field goal, ever.
I mean, but
And Jake
it's
Elliott's
not
been-
about him missing. It's about getting him down the field.
Jake
Let him
El-
finish, Skip.
I'm sorry. Jake Elliott cheats on field goals. Just
Listen,
saying.
I'm just saying. I think the Eagles got this 24-21.
Okay. Caleb.
I'm going to say the 49ers win 21-13. I think what's going to happen, you're going to see the 49ers attack Jalen Hurts just like everybody attacks Lamar Jackson in playoff games. Like when we think of like Lamar Jackson struggling, because I don't want to like compare Jalen Hurts to Lamar Jackson, but they're similar.
They're
right?
very similar. Very similar.
Just because the offense that they run and the way that they're able to be so effective running the ball, and how much that brings to the table, and how hard it is to cover a receiver while you're also covering a quarterback running and a running back running and all that. But all that to say, I think the 49ers are going to be able to bottle him up and keep him in the pocket, and that's going to be bad news.
Yeah.
And I think they've got, like, when you watch that Giant game, what happened was those guys were getting too far up the field. They were getting too far out, and they were just giving him these wide open lanes, and he took them. And when he was completing passes, like, yeah, he did a good job. I'm not going to knock him. He hit the passes that were there.
They were wide open. They were 5-yard
But
pass.
exactly. They were
How
like-
hard is it to hit a 5-yard pass?
He wasn't squeezing into windows because he didn't have to. So I'm not like – I think the 49ers are going to win, even though they were very unimpressive against Dallas. They did not look very good.
but
I would not have been shocked if they had lost that game. Like,
I thought they were going to
looked
lose for a
very
second.
evenly matched, but I do think that they're going to show up against the Eagles.
If Pollard doesn't get hurt,
Make it
they
happen.
win that game.
Well, yeah, that
They
and
lose that game.
that, and if Christian McCaffrey's on the 49ers, the Cowboys win that game too because Christian McCaffrey ran that final ran that final kicker.
Is your pick affected if I tell you CMC's hurt?
Nope.
He has a hurt calf strain.
I think he's fine. They're going to be fine.
He's still playing.
As long as George Kittle plays, as long as they've got Elijah Mitchell. And honestly, the running back position for the 49ers is interchangeable.
That's true. They
Like,
get
you've
holes.
seen no matter who is in there, like they're going to be successful. So as much as I hate to say it, I would love to see the 49ers win or lose. I do not want the 49ers to win anything.
Oh, I want the.
I wish they could go 0-17 every year. But just basically because they turn the Rams stadium into their home stadium every time.
Because
they
you
play.
guys have no fans in LA.
Yeah, we got more than the Chargers.
That's true.
But yeah,
That's
I'm
not
picking
saying
49ers
much.
over the Eagles.
All right. So, Caleb, I told you Monday that if we were to pick on Monday, I would have told you the Niners were going to lose in a blowout. Because at first, before doing any research, I was like, that's too physical of a game to go back and play on travel. And then I did some research. And there was something that I found was actually incredible. Teams that play a really physical game the week prior to playing another game actually have a winning record in the playoffs.
There's a stat for that.
There is a stat.
Physical game?
Physical, like one's under 20 points in the cold is usually a physical, hard,
Somebody needs to get
grit
a
your
life.
teeth kind of game. But yeah, they have a winning record. The teams since 2020 that have a losing record are the teams that win by 2 possessions or more in the playoffs. So since 2020, teams in the divisional round that have won by 2 or more scores are actually 2-3 in the week following, which the Eagles won 38-7. And the other thing I'll say is everybody wants to bring up the fact that the Niners haven't played anybody all year. Who have the Eagles played? And the thing is that then there's the fact everyone's like, well, the Niners haven't played a quarterback like Jalen Hurts. Yeah, they did week 1. They played Justin Fields, who scrambles, if not more. Whoa. I'm not saying Justin Fields is Jalen Hurts. I meant a mobile quarterback.
I'm not but
Listen,
but Justin
you're-
Fields, like everything around Justin Fields.
It was in the rain. I'm saying a
It's
rain.
like-
People say the Niners were going to struggle to contain a scrambling.
Look, here's a hot take. I think Justin Fields is better than Jalen Hurts, but everything around Justin Fields sucks. Everything around Justin Fields sucks.
Okay.
Coaching, line, skill players, everything sucks.
You can't say that Justin Fields is not better than Jalen Hurts when Justin Fields puts up the same numbers as Jalen Hurts with a team and a franchise that doesn't even exist in the NFL.
Like you and I could go out and play receiver for those guys. Basically, I mean, not really.
Can I just say this? I might be considered a Jalen Hurts hater. Don't even put Justin Fields in the same conversation.
Well,
Justin Fields could hit the ocean if he was standing.
It doesn't really matter to me, like your evaluation of quarterbacks, because you still think Daniel Jones is good. Like Daniel Jones showed you in that playoff game exactly what he. Know what he is? He's Baker Mayfield, but he runs faster. That's exactly who he is. He's going to have stretches where he looks great, and when you need him to win a game, he can't do it. He's Baker Mayfield.
I think you put Justin Fields on the Eagles team right now, and you have him play the entire season just like Jalen Hurts did.
The same record, probably.
Same record.
But Justin Fields can't stay healthy.
Well, Jalen Hurts
because
couldn't stay healthy. He got hurt.
His head knocked off. He's got no line.
Slide. How hard is it to slide?
Because he needs all the yards he can get because nobody else on the team's getting them.
He had Montgomery. David Montgomery's a good running back.
Average.
Oh.
He's
All
okay.
Right. Well, then there's a stat. The Eagles are 3-2 when they host the NFC Championship game, a winning record. The Niners on the road in NFC Championship games are 2-5. It's not great.
Philly's a very tough city to play, and I said it last week. I'll say it again. It is a very
Believe it
tough
or not,
city.
Out of most teams, Philly's not that hard to play because if you get the lead, they're horrible if you're trailing. If you're losing, it's horrible. But if you have the lead, it's not hard because Eagles fans are very easy to shut up. You get the momentum, they shut up.
Yeah.
San Francisco fans typically travel pretty well too, so it'll be interesting.
Have you seen the prices of these?
To see if they're willing to go to Philadelphia.
$883 just for a stand-in ticket, just to stand. Like, I ain't paying that just to stand. Like, jeez. But there's a reason I'm going to pick the Eagles because I'm picking the Eagles. Rookie quarterbacks are 0-4 in championship games. It doesn't happen. And last week I wanted to bring this up about Brock Purdy because I was wrong. You know who he reminds me of? It's not Montana. There's another number 13 who nobody thought would come around. His name's Kurt Warner. He reminds me a lot of Kurt Warner.
Blasphemous.
Kurt Warner himself said this.
I mean, it's better than saying he's like the same as the best ever.
He has a play style similar to Montana, but his story reminds me of Warner.
Did he marry a woman with a? Never mind.
No, but anyway, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm still gonna say this is not gonna be a close game. Brock Purdy had about 4 passes last week that should have been picked off. I got 24-10 Eagles. I think the Eagles are gonna mop the floor with him. I'm gonna say Brock Purdy throws 3 picks.
The one thing I can say is the Eagles secondary, all their cornerbacks, their safeties, they're way better than the Dallas. Dallas has Diggs, and that's about it.
The only way I could see the Niners win this game is if they force, and I mean force Jalen Hurts to beat them with his arm.
I think the only way they lose this game is if the Eagles. I don't know where I was going with this. Never mind. Forget it.
I think
I had a good point, and then it just instantly lost.
Listen, I think Brock Purdy might throw more than 3 interceptions because C.J. Gardner-Johnson got his keys stolen after the game last week, and I think he's coming for some vengeance.
And I can say this: I want the Eagles to lose. Like I have an old Niners hat. I will be wearing that thing on Sunday. Got it from an uncle a couple years, about 10 years back. I will be wearing it on Sunday. I don't want to see y'all in the Super Bowl.
All you guys are saying is one of your records is losing.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm going with the home team. I trust the veteran.
Oh, here's what I was going to say. The only way that the 49ers lose this game is if they get a big lead on the Eagles and then Shanahan's.
Can we talk about Elijah Mitchell? What are you thinking, dude? You get the first down, slide. He runs out of bounds.
Yeah, but he got the first down close to out of bounds anyway, so it's like,
Also,
he was running down the sideline the whole way, pretty much.
Also, it wouldn't be me without saying, "Hey, Dallas, I told you Dak was going to sell you at the end."
Yeah. It's all Dak, not the entire team.
I think the Eagles were able to stop. Obviously, they were able to stop Daniel Jones, but they're also able to stop Saquon Barkley from doing really anything. He kind of didn't show up in that game at all. I mean, given his quarterback's not great, but he's a running back. All he has to do is hand him the ball. So I feel like Saquon is way better than Christian McCaffrey now. Christian McCaffrey can't stay healthy. When Christian McCaffrey is fully healthy, yes, Christian McCaffrey is better.
Saquon can stay healthy?
No, but when Saquon plays,
It's
I
like
think
two sides of the same coin.
CMC is the more all-around player. Saquon from week 1 to 9, I agree, which he was great. Since week 10, he's been horrible. Well, he's been average. It's about 55 yards a game. I mean, that's
It's hard for a running back to take that many hits and just keep pounding.
Agreed. And he has, and what most running backs have is by this time they're used to the NFL season because they've stayed healthy. Saquon hasn't played a full season since 2018 until this season. Well,
But neither has Christian McCaffrey. Really, he's been hurt almost every season.
yeah, but he's a vet. He played his first 4 seasons. He played a full season, like a full season.
Yeah, but after that, he would get hurt week 3, week 4, week 5.
But he won't be as injury prone at San Francisco because he's not going to be used.
He's not going to be used as much. I agree with you, but I still think that Saquon, as of right now, well, not right now because Giants are out of the thing, but I think as of up to in playoffs, Saquon was a better running back.
In 5 years, we'll look back at this conversation. It's going to be Saquon's stats are going to be about here. CMC's stats are going to be here, but that's not just because of talent. CMC's running in the best run system in the league.
Yeah, but and
He is right now.
Saquon's going to be wearing blue and gold next year.
My Jesus.
Blue and soul, I should say.
With what?
It's going to be a ram.
I don't know.
They're
I
gonna
could
find a way.
I don't know. I could see Saquon staying in at the Giants, which would be a very big mistake. But I could see him staying with the Giants the rest of his career
The Giants,
if they're willing to pay him. That is.
so he said he's willing to take a pay cut. They only offered him $12 million, and there's Giants fans like, what? Why would you say you want to take a pay cut? I'm like, because $12 million. That's low balling. He wants about 16.
That is very low.
Now, don't give him the Zeke contract.
No.
Because I'll tell you what, hey, Zeke got that contract, but he looked more like a center on Sunday than he did a running back.
I don't know about looking like a center. You
Oh.
see him playing the center spot?
No,
He got barreled
I'm talking
over.
about physically wise.
Zeke-
He got
His-
some tree
his
trunks,
build.
man. Like his bottom half is
Zeke
massive.
Zeke was such an explosive player. He would get the ball, and that was his thing. He would get the ball, he would slow down a little bit, and then once he found that gap, take off, gone. Nobody can catch him. But once he got injured, and then they paid him, he kind of just fell off, and then he put on weight, and then he tried to turn it into muscle, and he just wasn't fast enough to keep up, and he just kind of fell off now, and now he's washed.
Which is
He also
why
used to play with the best offensive line in football, and he doesn't anymore.
yeah, he used to have a competent cornerback behind him. Now he doesn't have that anymore, does he?
I don't know about that.
Competent quarterback. Whoa.
Speaking of competent quarterbacks,
Let's move on, right?
to the AFC.
We got 6:30 Sunday. Joe Burrow, Pat Mahomes.
The only thing I'm
Round
scared
4.
about is how healthy is Mahomes, because I really wish both these teams were coming into this 100%.
I do too.
It would be such a fun game to watch.
These are the top 2 quarterbacks in the league. These are the top 2, possibly top 2 teams in the league. As you watch them play,
Yeah.
Stats wise, they're not really, but if you watch them play, they're definitely the top 2 teams in the league.
Oh, stats wise too, they are.
But Mahomes is. I mean, you saw the injury. I thought he might have tore his ACL. How his knee bent. I was very scared more of his knee because when he went down, his ankle got caught, but he fell to the side and his knee went sideways too. So I was very scared that it could have been an ACL, MCL cut type of injury because it almost looked like the Carson Wentz injury when he tore both of those ligaments. But I mean, not at the same because they grabbed his leg when Carson Wentz did it. But Patrick Mahomes was standing more stationary when it happened. But he didn't look right, and then he needed help to limp off the field in the second half when he threw that touchdown.
Because he hopped off the foot. I mean, it's a sprained ankle. What are you hopping off?
Oh,
the
I mean,
thing?
yeah, I agree with you, but I just don't. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, don't get me wrong, is one of the best quarterbacks ever, but
Yeah.
he's not coming in this game healthy. I think the Bengals have a better defense. I think Joe Burrow healthy is better than Patrick Mahomes right now, and Joe Burrow threw almost 250 yards. Patrick Mahomes threw like 190.
Mahomes, you also got to remember that Mahomes didn't play for like 13
That's true.
minutes.
That's true, but I mean,
And he was
when you look at it, you see how much the Chiefs need Mahomes. I mean, that backup quarterback came in. He only threw like 50 yards or something like that.
Yeah, but
98-yard drive.
he got a touchdown in just one drive.
Do you know how hard it is?
He was 1 of 1.
I mean,
98-yard drive. I mean, that's incredible. He's the reason they
what
won
more
the
do you
game.
want the guy to do?
but I still don't think. I still don't think if Patrick Mahomes is on a different team, the Chiefs aren't making it to playoffs, or at least as far as they do.
They were a playoff team every year before him.
Andy Reid.
Andy Reid is a very good coach. I agree, but Patrick Mahomes
No,
is
they
a
weren't
very
winning
good
Super
quarterback.
Bowls without him. They're getting to the playoffs without him.
But
would've just
I
had
think
Alex Smith.
I think this game, watching the Bengals put on a clinic against the Bills. By the way, but to be fair, the Bills are one of the most consistent teams to choke in the playoffs. They're right behind the 49ers.
They just completely no-showed.
As me and Caleb were talking about this the other day, the Bills are a weird team because they're built for a dome but play in the snow. Like, I want to know what they're thinking when they're like, let's be up.
And this game's in Kansas City, right?
Yeah.
They kept throwing deep. Like, guys, you don't do that in the
It's
snow.
third and one.
don't have to throw deep.
do that
It's
in the
third and
snow.
one. What are you throwing? And then the other thing, Caleb, you probably wanted to bring this up about Josh Allen not using his legs.
Yeah.
That was
All the times that he shouldn't use his legs, he uses them and takes hits. And then in the playoff game when it matters and it's 3rd and 2, he's throwing 50 yards instead of just taking the the 5 or 10 right in front. What are you doing? Oh, whatever.
The one thing that scares me, though, is Eli Apple is talking. Just like he did before the Super Bowl
Did you see
when
the
they ended up
tweet?
losing. I did. But I still think the Bengals are pulling it off, and I still think the Bengals might go to the Super Bowl, but I think it's going to be a pretty close game because I think Patrick Mahomes can come back and pull off a miracle.
So score?
I'm thinking like 27-21.
20. All right, Caleb.
All right. Everything about me wants to pick the Bengals. Like, the common sense move is to pick the Bengals. Like, that is the smart money.
Oh, why do you got to do this?
But I'm not betting against Pat Mahomes.
God, why
He's
do you
the
make
best quarterback in the league, and it's by a lot. I still say wide margin. And I think the Chiefs are going to win, and I think it's going to be an offensive game. I think it's going to be like a 35-31 type game. I think the Chiefs are going to win. I think they're going to score. I think they're going to do enough. And Mahomes is going to be healthy enough. He's going to find a way. They're going to get him so drugged up, he's not even going to know he has 2 feet. And he's going to be fine. They're going to win this game. That's my opinion. I think they're going to win. That's my pick.
Caleb,
It's going to be right. I'm going to be perfect still.
I hate that we have to be on the same page this much. So, look, I want to pick the Bengals, and I was this close. But then I look across the nation. Everybody's picking the Bengals to win.
True.
And you know what always happens when everybody picks one team? The opposite team wins.
Yeah, you're letting Patrick Mahomes play with house money.
He's never been an underdog in his entire
He's an underdog at home.
The one thing the Bengals don't have is Travis Kelce.
And I think the Bengals are kind of reading their press clips a little bit. Like,
They're-
you have Buffalo who celebrated beating the Rams game 1 of the season like they had just won the Super Bowl.
And then you got
And then, like, when you played the game that actually mattered, you got embarrassed. You didn't even show up. And the Bengals, like, they didn't have to work for that game. They came in, they punched Buffalo in the mouth, and Buffalo just laid there. And
the one thing that makes me maybe pick the Bengals is because that defensive coordinator. I mean, he doesn't even have there's no big name on the Bengals defense, but they just play as a collective unit so
yeah, they
well.
play really good defense.
And he comes up Mahomes has struggled against them because they know how to defend him. So I'm kind of nervous because I'm like, I wonder what's going to happen without Mahomes' mobility. But there's no answer for Travis Kelce. Like, I'm always like, what are you guys doing, double team? But there's probably going to be someone else wide open.
Yeah, and I still think the Rams would have won by 2 or 3 scores if OBJ hadn't got hurt.
Yeah,
Because they were doing whatever they wanted.
Oh, yeah.
And then they still ended up finding a way to win with only one receiver out there. So
He's the best receiver in football. I mean, that's why. But the reason I'm also going for the Chiefs to win this game, and I actually will be rooting for him because I found out Isaiah Pacheco, he actually is from around here. He's an East Coast guy, 7th round pick, easy to root for. Found out he was actually family friends with my aunt, so I was like, "Oh, that's kind of interesting." So
inside information.
inside information. So I found that I was like, you know what? Maybe it's time I root for.
Cousin's brother's sister's ex-roommate.
I mean, Isaiah Pacheco is like,
Did you see the speed?
wow.
That
Like,
speed burst. And
I mean, with 12 carries, almost 100 yards, like,
you watch him and you watch Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and you're like, who's the first round pick here? I would have been like Isaiah Pacheco.
And you think about, like, they have Pacheco, they've got Edwards-Helaire, they've got Jerick McKinnon, and they've got Ronald Jones. Like, they've got a stable of backs there that, like, if anything were to happen, like, God forbid, next man up. Like, they're in good shape.
You know what I got to give the Bengals credit for, though? They were missing 3 offensive linemen, and they ran the football very well.
but also they showed us last season they don't really need an offensive line to go to the Super Bowl.
The other thing is, Burrow gets that ball out quick.
Yeah, and Buffalo didn't have Von Miller.
true.
If they had Von Miller, they win that game.
Yeah, people don't understand.
How
Von
great-
Miller is an elite pass rusher, yes. But he was also one of the best run defenders in the league last year. And so you miss that when you don't have him in there.
Ask the Rams.
Once Miller went out during the season, the Bills' defensive line went from number 2 to number 26. And that is wild to see. Just one player dropped them 24 spots on the rankings.
And the other reason I'm going to be picking the Chiefs in this one is, you know how hard it is to beat a team not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 times
in a row.
in a year span. I mean, that's really hard to do. And it's in Kansas City. Kansas City is going to be rocking. You want to talk about a hard place to play? I don't want to go to Arrowhead. Arrowhead's the last place.
Not at this point. Not with the momentum that the Chiefs have had in the last 5 years, and not at this point in the season either. I don't want to go there.
I'll quote Nick Wright. It's the last 5 years has been the Kansas City Invitational. We know what one team's going to be. Who's the other team? And so far, the Bengals have been there back-to-back years. But it's time for the Bengals to back up that quote. We're the dogs of the AFC. Prove it. Beat it. When you're the favorite, beat the favorite.
I want to see Eli Apple get dog walked.
I do too. I would if the Bengals.
I hope they only go after Eli Apple the whole game.
So I got, in kind of a funny way, I got the Chiefs winning 27-24 because that's been the score of the last 2 games. But I think this time Mahomes is going to come out on the other end. And I'll say this: if the Chiefs win this game, the AFC needs to be scared because Mahomes is hurt. They don't have a true number 1 receiver. They got Kelsey, but the great tight end.
They also don't have a true number 1 running back either. Like they have 2 or 3 running backs who take it over.
Pacheco will get 1,000 yards rushing next year. I can assure you that.
But if they have McKinnon, I think him and McKinnon sharing the ball next year because they both put on a really good season this year together.
I've never seen a running back. There's only one running back I've ever seen with more burst than Pacheco. Mostert at his prime. Like when he was with the Niners back in 2019, like when he hit the hole then, it's pretty quick. But Pacheco, that hole he hit versus the Jaguars, I mean, he just hit the corner, pow! It was like he shot out of a cannon. I was like, whoa, all right. But yeah, anything else you guys want to add on to this game?
Did you give your score to this Bengals-Chiefs game?
Yeah, it's like
35-31.
35-31. I think that's probably too high, actually. Like the more I'm thinking,
that's why I was going to go up there too, but I was like, I don't think it's going to be that high.
But I'm not going to change it. I'm going to roll with it. But I'm guessing.
If Patrick Mahomes wasn't playing, I think it would be that high. But
So
yeah, Patrick Mahomes. I would have loved to have seen that.
A fully healthy Patrick Mahomes versus a fully healthy
matchup. Remember that 55-51, whatever the score was.
there is one bright
I wish
line
we
we
got
can
one
look
of
forward
those.
to. Somebody's going to lose that undefeated streak this weekend.
True.
Probably going to be me because I went with the Eagles, but I'm hoping
Tell us in the comments who you think's going to lose, but you have to do it before Sunday.
before Sunday.
Because if you do it after Sunday, that's just
Loser move.
Yeah.
Loser.
go out on a limb.
Anyway, please like, please subscribe, and until next time.
To be continued.